So, hello everybody, welcome back. As we're getting things set up for our next round of coverage, we are going to just do a little bit of a bracket roundup as to what is doing well in the winners bracket. So we have Iliac versus Goblin Queen as one of our winners bracket matches. It's not the one we're watching this round, but that is once again Shimmer Pack, the classic two-faction build, versus Goblin Queen on Cambrai Aggro, which is a list that they are very comfortable playing. I've played against Goblin Queen a number of times on ladder, and is relatively high ranked playing a lot of that deck and a lot of other aggressive decks too. Then we also have Smoony versus Impulsi. Now, Impulsi is on a relatively standard Cambrai Aggro list, but Smoony is on a more exotic build of Xenon Killers, but not just Xenon Killers. There's also um, a splash for justice as well. So hoping to get that on camera at some point today, but definitely a pretty exotic build that is doing relatively well. So now the next match that we are going to be catching is going to be Haidar versus Babam. So that is Cambrai Aggro versus Combrano Aggro. So very similar deck lists in a lot of respects, but we're definitely going to notice some differences in specific card choices down the line, predominantly because of the splash in Babam's deck. And then finally, we have Jello Moose versus Keystone, and Keystone is on the Shimmer Pack Splash Justice, which has been doing relatively well for them, and Jello Moose is on Rakano Plate. So the only remaining Rakano player in the winner's bracket. So we are going to be looking at deck lists very shortly. Rhino, are you with me?
I am. I'm kicking myself because I just made one of the graphics incorrect. And we're going to have a split of premium and non-premium torches. I apologize. I should just have some premium torches in my collection already.
Literally the worst. Literally the worst. So let us take a look at it. So what do we have up on the stream first? So we're going to take a look again at Babam's deck, which is at its core, it is Cambrai Aggro variant playing the obelisks, the 4 obelisks, but has decided to support a splash of fire for torches and obliterates. Now, we saw that in one of the previous rounds. Now, Ryan, what did you think about that deck and seeing it in action?
I think when we saw it in action, it kind of lived up to our expectations where it's got a lot of powerful things, but they might not always come on the exact turn you want them, right? We saw Babam often being a turn behind in power, but ultimately was able to make up for it just because his plays were so powerful, right? Awakened Sins were doing a lot of work in that matchup, which helped, but the Obliterate we only saw once and they couldn't even cast it, I guess. So maybe not always, but Torch is just so powerful and always looming. And I mean, Cambrai Aggro is a good deck, and why not make it stronger? 4 Amber Monuments, while can hurt the early game, it certainly gives you a nice finisher towards the end where you just sit at 5 power, you just keep playing threats, and just keep up the pressure.
Yeah, and I think that the I'm going to be watching to see if these Xenon obelisks get turned all the way on to 8 very often in the course of these games.
I don't think we can expect that, really.
No, I don't think so either. But in which case, I'm just wondering why they're much better than something like Stand Together, but I'm not sure. I'm interested to see how it kind of plays out. It's definitely an interesting build of the deck, and we'll see how it performs here against basically what would be the kind of natural alternative to it. Now, there are some, I think, some interesting differences in the build beyond just the fire splash or not. The build that Haidar is playing is not playing the obelisks.
It's got one.
Yeah, right? 1. Yeah.
So 2 in the side.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But it is something that is a logical. It's kind of a contention I've seen different builds. There are builds of Cambrai Aggro that are just seen in obelisk decks. Like they're playing the Morrison's Disciples, and they're playing a lot of tokens, kind of effects in their aggro build, and they're hoping to really get people with that obelisk, which has a number of advantages. against go tall strategies, or against removal heavy strategies. But one of the downsides of of it is that unless you have these really big units that can get over top of something else, you're just going to be at parity against another obelisk deck. Well, the Combre aggro list that Hythar is playing the staffs, Vodafone staffs, that
Yeah.
allows you to attack past some bigger units.
Yeah, 3 stand-togethers, 4 staffs.
Mm-hmm.
Much bigger impact things, relegating all the finest hours and protection stuff to the sideboard. Also featuring the full 4 Vanquish and 2 teleports main deck.
That's a lot of interaction.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of interaction, but also kind of a different set of interaction than you're used to seeing from Combat Aggro necessarily, right? Like no finest hours like that. So he's gonna regret not having the finest hours main for this matchup, at least game 1, and I imagine those come in game 2 because you're just going to be mashing units against each other, and finest hours really useful in that scenario.
But I think that actually the standout card is Vanquish, honestly.
Oh
So
yeah.
Babam is playing 2 in the sideboard and none in the main deck, which I think is a pretty bold call, and suspecting not a lot of Vanquish targets, I guess, or something in this metagame. But there's been a lot of Sandstorm Titans that we've been seeing around. Even in our previous matchup, both players had tons of targets for Vanquish, even though there was no time on either side of the field.
Yeah, basically, if Hythar gets a Vodafone staff on almost anything, the BAM's going to have a real hard time dealing with it.
Yeah. Now it is possible to do some combinations of either obliterate it down if it's a 3/3 that has the staff on it, or using like group blocking it, things of that nature. But definitely, I think that the Vodafone staff is going to do a lot of work here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is definitely the place, though, that if Babam's call in the splash for this deck, hopefully you would see it manifest in this sort of matchup, because this is the natural alternative.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how much work the Torch Splash does in this matchup too, because obviously it can hit some things. It can hit an early awakened student. It could neuter an Initiative of the Sands or a District Infantry. But it's not going to deal with anything once it gets out of that reach, and then it's just acting as reach in a racing scenario, which can be nice, but usually you want to focus on the units instead. So I'm interested to see. This might not be the matchup where the Torch Splash shines its brightest.
Well, we are ready to go, and I think that we're going to be sending out the challenge very soon, as soon as our players get that notification. So you guys will be seeing some hot eternal action momentarily. So I'm excited. I'm very interested to see how this performs. I'm curious, personally, because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, this should be a pretty cool matchup. If Hythar can get underneath the Bam, if he like stumbles on power, I think those are going to be like the easy wins. But I don't think you can necessarily bank on those.
Yeah, I think that definitely, I think the obelisks on Babam's side, though, are going to make a fairly big difference. So if he can get those online, get multiple obelisks active early-ish in the game, it'll definitely make Hythar's job very, very difficult. And having that burn also means that you have this out of getting them down to 15 in the early game, and then running obliterates and torches. So
Right.
game is getting started, and I am looking at opening hand, not very keepable, and Babam's opening hand, close, but I think it's a little bit too awkward for my tastes.
Yeah, I would like to commentate, but my stream's not working at the moment. So you take it from here. I'm gonna get this working.
Well, in that case,
real quick.
Hythar has a opening hand that is not very exciting, as it has 2 Justice Sigils and no time sources, but he does have the turn 1 Initiate, which hopefully will be able to do some work. But Bam also is not without power problems of his own, although he does have at least 2 types of influence online. So definitely will be a race, I think, to see, Hythar gets the Seat of Progress off the top, which is going to be a huge pickup, although he's still not out of his power problems just yet. Does have the Desert Marshal that should be able to take the District Infantry to school, if he wants to hit that. But there's a lot of other valuable targets in Babam's deck, so that's going to be a difficult call. I personally would be tempted to just kind of develop it just so that you can kind of remain on the aggressive, since you're hoping to capitalize on a slow power draw from Babam, given the texture of his deck. And definitely it's very loudly given off by that long pause. So Hyther is going to play it, and time sigil off the top. So this has been a basically perfect draw steps for Hyther, and is going to be able to lay down some serious beats as Babam is struggling to meet their power requirements.
Yeah, I tuned into something here. Wow, that is a beautiful looking hand from Hardar, and
Yep.
Babam's gonna get to play a 3/3 here, and that's at least better than nothing. But geez, yeah, it doesn't have double justice. Might not be able to play Sandstorm next turn. This is not looking good for Babam, as Hythar is just putting the pedal to the metal here and playing a lot of pressure. What a curve out! Wow.
Okay, so in Hyther is going to be attacking with both. I would be expecting the double block, given the texture of Babam's hand.
He
Just
goes
chumping.
with the chump.
I'm not crazy about that because I think that the Babam, you can't count, like in his position, you can't count on hitting a power next turn to get up to the 4/4. But Hyther just developing a Titan. This is looking to be a bit of a bloodbath.
Maybe Babam's a little nervous there about getting blown out by a combat trick, but I don't know if you can actually
That's true.
play
That's
around
true.
it there. But maybe he thinks he can.
I guess so. The Desert Marshal is going to neuter that initiate of the sounds, the district infantry, which will slow down the aggression a little bit, but that doesn't really solve the big problems on the other side of the table, which is the 5/4 and the 5/6.
You're at 11, and your opponent's got 11 attack in play, and you don't have any clean answers to anything here. Yeah, this is looking rough for Babam. He's been on his back foot, and now he's got to double block again and hope for at least there if they have stand together, the trade happens.
Yeah,
they're just going to play a large unit with overwhelm, and Babam draws an obliterate, which
is not
even
even
if
castable.
that was even if it was castable, it wouldn't do the most work in the world here. And he's got to decide between getting a double fire or double justice here.
Yep.
Oh man,
hard decisions. Going to go for the fire.
He's
but I don't think that
not dead. He's technically not dead.
He's technically not dead. So now Hythar attacks with all, gets in 5 damage, brings Babam down to 1, is able to develop 2 threats, and I don't believe that there's an out possible here.
Yeah, even if Babam magically drew Harshals and a power here, he would still
be dead.
He would still lose. So yeah, that's going to be this one. And that kind of went how we were talking about, right? Where Babam kind of stumbles on his own power in spots. Now that may have been more of a he just didn't draw enough power, not necessarily the right power. But the fact that when he was drawing power was all depleted didn't help.
Well, yeah, and it's something that, for instance, look at the Amber Monument that was in his opening hand. If that was a sigil, all of those seats come in undepleted.
Yeah, it's rough.
And then what? And I would have to. I mean, we'd have to play back the game and see exactly how does that play out then in that situation. But I think that the game looks very different if there if any of those cards in the opening hand were a regular sigil.
Yeah. So there he had the obliterate and the torch. They were kind of clunky. They couldn't quite do what they were doing. Where he was against a lean, very focused, very consistent deck. Cambrai aggro has its own inconsistencies. It's playing Initiative Sands. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
But it's still, Oh yeah. So Babam's going to try and go bigger here. It looks like with his sideboard, right? Which is the approach to take against aggro. He's cutting his district infantries. He realizes he's not winning the game through that route. He needs to go a bit bigger, basically play the role of the bigger mid-range deck, right? Almost controlling in a way.
Well, I think that the district infantries are just not great in this matchup because there are so many silence effects on both sides of the battlefield, and there's also just such bigger threats on both sides of the battlefield. If there's a Titan on the battlefield, it's very optimistic to even be hit power, attack in, then do Finest Tower. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
For once you get to turn 4, and even that feels pretty unlikely.
That being said, I like district infantry still a lot in Hyther's Cambrai aggro deck because it distracts it from your students, your initiates, your other things being silenced. Where Babam's not playing initiates, so you can't really use the district infantry as like almost an absorption of silences.
Sure.
So I think, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. Hi there brought in the finest hours, keeping all the 1-drops going aggressive. Babam brought in a bunch of his like deadly units. The Vanquishes came in, took out the 1-drops, and it's just trying to get a bit bigger, stay a bit above, have a bit higher impact spells than Hi there's Cambrai aggro.
Yeah, I guess you could just say it as Hi there's just sees himself like, I'm just the aggro, they're the control, and that's the texture of the matchup.
Hi there wants to get under them and beat them up while they if they stumble, he wants to be able to take advantage.
Yes, and I mean that's really the story of the last game, right? Just wants to operate on
that went to the script that Hi there wanted.
Yep.
But in any game that Babam's not stumbling, that's where it's going to be a bit more interesting. Where he's got, Obliterate is it's a pretty cool card in this matchup. I don't know how much better it is than Vanquish in this matchup. I think the idea behind it overall was how good it is against something like Shimmer Pack, right? Where Vanquish is largely dead. That has a bit more utility in other.
So Hi there has a fairly good opening hand, needs a little bit more power to operate effectively, but definitely, right off the top. that's our lesson been so far with Hi there. If he needs power, it's just right on the top of the deck. It's very quick. Just
both these hands could use power. Babam now is certainly begging for it harder than Hi there is.
Yeah,
and I mean Babam needs to hit power here, but if he does, boom, the Amber Acolyte. But it really needs to be undepleted power, and doesn't have much of that in the deck. So it's asking for not just power off the top, but undepleted power here for Babam to keep up with this pressure. Diplo Seal does the job magnificently.
Yes, that's going to tie the room together spectacularly as a one of in the deck.
Yeah, there aren't really many better draws I can think of than that.
No, I think. Well, I mean, Fire Sigil is the. Oh, you're going to go for the.
Once it casts Sandstorm Titan, so it gets the time sigil.
No, of course.
Even though he has more time sources than anything, he wants to ensure the Sandstorm Titan. That's another interesting cost we haven't talked about, and I don't know if it's correct to do it in the middle of this match, but having to play Amber Acolyte in an aggressive deck is certainly a cost that you don't have to do in traditional Cambrai.
Well, it's a Xenon Obelisk deck at its core, so I think given that it's kind of fine.
Yeah, Amber Acolyte is a proven great card. It's just another kind of certain differentiation you have to make in your deck compared to
no question.
Ooh. I think it's so correct to just get the Sandstorm Titan down here. Hold on to the Monument. Maybe it ends up turning into an actual this game. And all right. Bam gets the Sandstorm Titan out first here.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty big, but at the same time, Hi there has just totally it has the finest of hours ready to go.
Yeah.
But that's actually like representing a lot of damage here. As basically Hi there has 6 burst from hand. So I'm wondering if Babam is going to be able to play around that as the game progresses.
Wow. The top of Babam's deck has been absolutely great to him here. Fire Sigil.
Here we are going on about how Hi there's been getting the draws that he needs, but it's been...
Yeah, these Crown Watch Paladins weren't quite the best here. Like now Hi there's got a bunch of low impact units. You can try and go wide here, maybe sneak into the last damage with a Finest Hour. But tough. This is a tough spot for Hi there. He's still at 16, so the crackback's not going to be super bad. And Babam just throwing away a 2-1 here, protecting his life total.
I can definitely appreciate that, especially given the fact that you have no Obelisk.
Going to 8 is a scary number when you suspect your opponent has some number of Finest Hours.
No, in Hi there's position, I don't mind this split. It allows you to keep up 1 Finest Hour. Now, I do believe that Babam is going to be suspecting that Hi there does have the Finest Hours in hand because there have been stops in various places that have suggested that. So we'll see how much he plays around them. Probably can't block here. Just takes 5, I imagine, going to 11, which is fine.
Yeah, blocking there is a very risky proposition. And there's in a spot where wants to draw better units, but also kind of needs to just draw power to keep these infantries relevant on this board, it's not a great spot for him. Bam is, like we said, fully transitioned into the I am controlling this board. I now have a Combray healer in play. I just went up to 16. I have a handful of removal. I've dumped removal the past few turns while my Sandstorm Titan does its job. And yeah, I didn't quite get under it, right?
See, I think that right now Hyder plays Paladin Pass. I think I like District Infantry as well, with the plan of basically doing an attack all next turn. This is
a tough spot, right? Like Paladins are safe to find this hour. You don't have to worry about them getting torched, but it still makes double blocking awkward.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're miserably bad at blocking it. Oh, he's just gonna chump the 6 to not die.
Or he could double Finest Hour, but I feel like that just is playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for him to find a way to end this game with your opponent at 16.
But I mean,
I'm trying to think like what impact draws high there could have here. I mean
running Vanquishes
does a lot of work, right, or something like that. The board's back to being relatively stable. Unfortunately, he's in obliterate range, and yeah, he's just drawing a bunch of low impact dudes and just doesn't quite have the reach to finish this. Try and go wide here. Oh boy, this is a tough spot. That Combray healer did a lot of work this game just by getting that 3 extra life. That's safe return. Huh.
And I don't think that there's any way that Hyder is going to be able to play around the torch here. So
yeah,
this is probably just game.
Yeah, this 5/5 overwhelm plus torch is.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to throw away a lot of stuff here. Babam has perfect information, and yep, that won't do it. So hey, good blocks by Hyder there.
Yeah,
he gets to kill all his units and keep the Rhino. So
yeah,
the only way to play around that is put literally all of your units, other than the one that's not blocking the healer, in front of.
Yeah, I think that on Hyder's position, you just play as if Torch is not a card, because I don't think that you can beat it.
And 3/9 and GG.
Oh, great power, right on time.
So we are going to game 3. We're knocking out of the park with these best of 3s here. At least we get to see a lot of action.
So I think that there was definitely a sign of like when Babam's deck is functioning smoothly in its power, it's a totally different game.
Right.
If he gets that diplomatic seal a turn later, I think that the game looks extremely different. So that was a really, really clutch pickup for him.
Yeah, if he didn't draw a diplomatic seal or a sigil right there, that game, it's just not a game.
The spiral's out of control. So
hi there. Had another decent
that's pretty
curve. Good. Hopefully finds something to hammer it on home. And Bam does not have justice in his hand.
There's no justice. No justice in his hand.
And now there is. Wow.
Yeah, these guys.
Holy cow.
But see, even this is something that is these
seats are going to be depleted.
Exactly. So this is it's a real cost.
But then here's the inconsistency we're talking about on Hyder's end, where he draws an initiative stance. Kind of awkward. It does let him play an elite next turn if he goes that route.
So here I feel like I actually play out the Desert Marshal. The best
keep that at 2/2.
silence target, I think,
is
that, because you're going to be able to hammer in with that 3/3 every turn for the next few turns, and if you keep it at that, then you're better. And here you see that the cascading effect of power drawn in the wrong sequence on the BAM side, not able to develop that healer this turn, is going to really set him back and allow Hyder to either develop.
This is an interesting turn for Hyder, though, right?
Yes.
You play this Enforcer, and then what if they actually are just? I mean, they don't have a sigil in hand that was depleted power, but yeah, I think you need to save the Enforcer for the Sandstorm Titan. That Pam can cast this turn. Wow.
Yep, sick rips on his side for sure. But Hyder only needs to have a vanquish off the top, and that really this board's position goes back in his favor.
This is going to be tough. Bam's going to have the bigger units. Up there's the vanquish. Man, haymakers on both ends. Although on one end of the haymakers is sigil to cast the haymakers, and on Hyther's side it's a vanquish. He doesn't realize how good this vanquish draw is right here yet. Ooh,
I like this attack.
yeah.
This is the best that the infantry is going to get. Maybe you can chip in
Elite
3
here
damage.
is just great. Next turn you can
Oh,
either vanquish Stand Together, vanquish Enforcer. Like this is just, Babam's not playing anything like harsh rules. You don't have to like clutch to your Stand Together and hold it up forever.
This is an odd play to me of the healer over the Titan. Interesting.
That is interesting. I guess he wants to use healer to kind of sniff around for combat tricks before committing Titan to a block. I mean, maybe he can really afford to do that.
I mean, maybe he smells the vanquish and just kind of knows that it's probably going to eat.
But something's got to eat the vanquish eventually.
True.
But I guess it makes sense to just be like, well, healer can't eat vanquish and it can block. So if I'm just trying to block right now, let's play this healer and see what happens. But again, another great. This district infantry lives to just attack. That's all he's here for. He's not going to block. It's pretty straightforward. And Hythar, can you stand together here to take out 2 units?
No.
Which,
yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You can do it for the 2-5.
Yeah, he can. He can, but will he? Question, right?
I mean,
yeah, and that means you get in for a bit more of this infantry too.
It cleans up the board a little bit too. Means that your opponent only has a 2-2 and a 2-5 on the other side.
Now, do you think you're supposed to play Valkenforcer pre-combat there?
I do.
Just because it's like, all right, I'm going to be playing it this turn anyways as a threat.
And if your opponent has the Titan, then you can
vanquish it. Yeah, and I would like to make it a 4/4. So
exactly.
Often it's correct to slow roll the unit, but maybe there, even though it telegraphs I have Stand Together, who cares that you're doing? Because the difference between that being a 3/3 and a 4/4 could be big. I don't know if it will be, but it could be.
Well, I mean, also it's a difference of
5-turn clock instead of a 4-turn clock.
Well, it's a difference of ages as well, right? Too, which could make a difference as the game plays it now,
or something like that. Yeah, like if they had a Desert Marshal here, that would be incredibly awkward. Ooh.
Now, Hyther has built out.
Doesn't do a whole lot when all your units are silenced.
Nope. Now, Hyther, though, has built out a really good go wide board. If he did bring in the obelisks from the sideboard, those are going to be fairly devastating here, I imagine.
Ooh, and there's the sigil to pump up the infantry.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Is this just an A-space turn?
So
Hyther is going with just the air assault here.
This is, I feel like all you need is something like a finest hour to make this really crippling. There's not very much you need in order to turn this board into something really special. So I can see waiting. Babams doesn't have a whole lot of help in hand or off the top of his deck. See, like Vodafone Staff. This is the exact same kind of thing that I can see as being a card that does a lot of work. Now, does it do enough here, though? So you can put it on the infantry and pump it up with the Justice Sigil and attack, and that it gets it up to
Actually, if you put it on infantry, do you still attack with the... What else do you attack with? Because he doesn't have to block infantry. He knows you don't have Finest Hour in hand. You have no cards in hand. But so you're forced to either wide against him. Yeah. Okay. So Babam uses the safe return here as a fog. Totally respectable.
Yeah, that's fine. But also because it's been silenced, it doesn't do nearly as much.
Yeah.
When it comes back in, which is fairly important.
There's another flyer. So you can silence that 3/3.
Yes, I would silence that 3/3 just like that. And this also means that if that infantry ever dies, then the staff is going to be going on to the Valkyrie very shortly thereafter.
And on top of that, you don't have to worry about losing the power from your initiate at any point. It's got an Aegis on
unless
so you
it's involved in combat.
And the old Inspire Roulette hits. Oh,
Yeah, that's not
Wow.
nothing. That's not nothing. That's going to
Game
change
5.
the race significantly, but Babam definitely is going to need to have an answer for that flyer.
Yeah. Whew. It's just it is awkward here that you can't even attack with disintegrating infantry because your opponent has a 4/7, so they just bounce. You need to actually wait till you find a power to be able to attack with it. But then you can't use that power to get back the staff when your district infantry dies. It's an awkward spot to be in, but you've got the flyer and your opponent doesn't, so at least you got that going. At any point, do you just think about randomly suicide attacking with these Crown Watch Paladins, or just
I mean, I'm
wide enough to just A space the whole thing?
I'm definitely considering it at like all the way along here.
All right, and now we've
Babam
got a
does hit that
super
8th power.
obelisk. Yeah.
Now, is it possible for him to make any attacks though? Now,
he realizes
yeah,
he's on a clock. He kind of has to.
So
and
at the very least,
little surprised we didn't see a block from infantry there.
Yes, that was definitely something that I was considering. But you can just do that next turn now, right?
The problem is here he can just block the infantry with his if you don't play power now, he actually can't block the infantry. That's true. It's no longer a 4/7, it's a 5/8. Funny how that works. You almost, if you're Babam, you almost prefer having the 4/7 here because now anything you block with the infantry is either going to kill the infantry and give them the staff back,
or you're blocking,
or you're taking damage. Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly have to block it here.
Yeah. I still think I would have considered blocking with infantry there just to try and get the staff into play. If I even show that's.
I think I don't play the power this turn because you just know that you have that access to that next turn and there's nothing in your deck.
You certainly don't play staff because that gives them an out to draw a vanquish.
Or silence.
That's true. Silencing staff is
brutal. It's a pain in the ass.
Boy, he's gonna go for it though. Okay. And no punish.
Yep. Well, that's game. That was a good one, though.
See. We gotta make some blocks and stuff first.
Yeah.
But the old.
I mean, this
looks like the old attack scoop, right? This looks like attack into scoop phase.
Yeah.
Decide your blocks and go from there. Either's got to think about some things. Yeah, the initiate doesn't matter because if you draw a sigil, you'll be back to 8 power anyways. You just have to consider obliterate there. Like, don't get into obliterate range.
Yep.
There's the attack and scoop. And hey, Seraph's a card.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And Valkyrie Enforcer enforcing and all that.
Allowing Valkyrie to finish off the game all by itself since it was doing the heavy lifting for the majority of it anyway. But good games. Good games. Got to see both decks in action. That was really interesting how that game sort of panned out. And it is something that if you just look at the board state in that game, like clearly the Valkyrie stands out as a powerful contributor to the board state. But because Babam had those awkward early turns, he lost those early life points. It really allowed Hythar to really punish that. And if it was a different narrative in the early turns, I think that Babam would have been able to be a little bit more aggressive and maybe race.
But I think that's also the whole point, right? He has that late game advantage because he's bringing that extra color to the table. So,
yep. Definitely got to see the decks kind of play out their game plans. And also got to see that staff versus obelisk sort of. And it's something that I just really think that the staff is such a great tool because it allows you to pick and choose like what are your most powerful tools in this situation, because it is something that there are a lot of games that are just one flyer versus the world.
All right, so probably time to try and figure out what match we're getting next.
That old rigmarole. But we'll let you guys off for the time being. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be getting started with the next round as soon as we can. Bye.